Li Dazhao was a pioneer of the communist movement in China and one of the main founders of the Communist Party of China. Li, who died at the age of 38, has inspired millions of Chinese youths with his deeds and articles. His heroic story has been shared by Chinese President Xi Jinping. Li was born in this bungalow in Hebei Province, North China, in October 1889. China was a semi-colonial, semi-feudal society back then, while many patriots sought to pull the nation together.
大钊先生6岁时进入村私塾，先生为他起名其年，字寿昌，希望他一生平安长寿。在他读书期间，辛亥革命爆发。1913年，他东渡日本求学。
It was in Japan that Li came to know about socialism and the theory of Marxism. Being worried about China's future, Li changed his name to Li Dazhao, which signified that he would work hard for lofty ideals of saving the nation rather than leading a peaceful life. In the spring of 1916, Li wrote an article titled Youth on the journal La Jeunesse, lighting a beacon of hope for building a stronger China among the Chinese people. In April of the same year, Li, along with hundreds of Chinese students, terminated their studies at Japanese universities and returned to China. In 1917, the October Revolution led to the founding of the former Soviet Union. Inspired by the news, Li saw the hope of national independence and people's liberation in China.
他在宣传实业革命和宣传马克思主义、宣传布尔什维主义的过程中，最早的转变成了马克思主义者。他专门提出我们要组织一个劳动家的政党。
In 1921, Li Dazhao was one of the key figures in founding the Communist Party of China. In the meantime, a workers' school was established by a communist group in Changxindian of Beijing to promote Marxism and train talent for the revolutionary cause. Li was one of the teachers who gave lessons to railway workers here.
1921年，在李大钊、邓中夏等共产党人的领导下，长辛店铁路工人成立了工会。1923年爆发了京汉铁路工人大罢工，长辛店也是主要的策源地和发生地之一。在这场革命斗争中，李大钊深入到革命群众中，积极地开展反帝反军阀斗争。
This courtyard is where Li and his family live from early 1920 to early 1924. Li also traveled between Beijing, Shanghai and Guangzhou, playing a role in Chinese statesman Xi Jinping's reorganization of the Kuomintang. He also made contributions for the establishment of the first united front between the KMT and CPC to resist Japanese aggression. In April 1927, 20 revolutionists, including Li Dazhao, were arrested in Beijing. Li was then executed by a warlord and died a heroic death. Many years later, Li's daughter wrote an essay remembering her father. She wrote, after father's arrest, he was interrogated many times, but he never bowed his head, showing the noble characters of a CPC member. In June 2021, during a group study session of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, President Xi said, looking back at the 100-year history of the CPC, countless CPC members sacrificed their lives for their ideals. He recalled that at Li Dazhao's last moment of life, he still proclaimed that communism will eventually achieve a glorious victory in China. In September 2021, Xi also shared Li's story during a speech to a high-level training class in Beijing. Xi quoted Li as saying, "The purpose of life is to develop one's own life, but there are also circumstances that life has to be sacrificed in order to develop lives. A noble life is always embodied in heroic sacrifice." Xi said Li died a martyr's death, which bespoke his extreme firmness on his ideals and convictions.
理想信念是我们中国共产党人的精神支柱和政治灵魂。从1921年我们党成立到1949年新中国建立28年中，有名可查的烈士就多达370多万。因此我们一定要继承发扬共产党人无所谓的奉献精神，不懈奋斗，永远奋斗，共同将党的事业推向新的胜利。